Hi, and welcome to today's, what I always want to say show of the Collab Works Podcast.
Yes.
Hi,
good morning.
Sherry. I'm glad you're back.
Yes, I missed you, and you did such a great job on Tuesday. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank
you really did a good job.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to the day when you do your own.
Okay.
It's really different considering that we've always done this show together. So doing the Collab Works podcast seemed really different not having you here with me. And other than that, I just really, really missed you because I have so much fun when we get together and talk. And
We do have fun. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing one by myself too, but I'm definitely waiting until after April the 15th. I've got to. Too many crazy things happening right now.
How's that going on that side?
It's really going pretty good. Each tax season, especially over these past several years, we're making transitions. You've implemented things here in our office, and each one's getting better. This one's getting better. And it's really interesting how it works in with our themes that you did this month.
Yeah.
And today's theme for sure.
Yeah.
So
because today we're going to be talking about letting go.
let it go.
Right?
Let it go.
All right, well, let's just start then. Both of us have some notes. We're going to do it a little bit different today because we're going to do just a quick recap of what we've done in the March for Myself series. And then we're going to go right into the Let It Go. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing in April and also in May.
That's a lot of thinking forward, isn't it?
It's a lot. It is a lot. So, you want to start us out on what was our first segment of March?
Well, we talked about stopping and how sometimes we can sabotage ourselves. And why do we do that? Fear of failure, comparison, all these different things. And we talked about stopping. So, what did you stop doing this month?
Oh, so okay.
I said that so quietly as though, what if she fell back off the wagon? You know?
Yeah, well, and I definitely could fall off the wagon.
Me too.
And so before we get there, just real quickly, I think it's important to say, so we have some notes with us today. They're not really notes. We had some questions that both Sherry and I answered. Just to kind of help us give a little thought to ourselves and how this series was impactful in our own lives and how we reflected. So I left Sherry alone with the questions for, I don't know, maybe 7 minutes, probably 6.5. And I came back in and she had 2 notebooks, a legal size pad, and a pack of pens. And and that's how she is. So she's dangerous if you give her too much time. She really loves to dig into even simple prompts that make you reflect and just get inside your head and think about yourself for a little bit. And I really admire that about you, Sherry, even though I'm picking at you a little bit. But
that's okay.
Normally I don't give her very much heads up on these things. But I've heard her say a couple of times what am I doing? I look like deer in headlights because I do hit her sometimes with things that she has no idea is coming. Mm-hmm. So today is a little bit different.
Thank you.
We had a little bit.
This makes me feel better. This makes me feel much better.
Back to your
little control.
So and it's comfortable because it's not the unknown, but the unknown is so fun and dangerous, but fun. Mm-hmm. So back to your question to me, what did I stop stopping? So I wrote down, and for me, this is so perfect. I am a creative person and I have just lots of creative ideas. And I'm really, really bad about stopping on myself with those creative ideas. And normally it has something to do with maybe I'm just having a bad day. I don't have the energy that I need. And that kind of goes into that Energize Me series. Maybe I didn't get enough sleep. My nutrition's off. Maybe I'm dehydrated. But if my energy level is low, my creative person kind of stops on me. And so I've really focused on that and just knowing what it is that's causing me to feel that way because I'm emotionally based. I love that about myself. I am an emotional reactor. I'm emotionally based, but I've learned to control it. So it's controlled emotions a lot of times. But just knowing that this creative self and these creative ideas that I have, I don't have to just completely tear those down in those days that I don't really feel like pursuing it, or it doesn't feel like it can be a thing. And so I've worked hard on that. And that has been nice to look back and be like, oh, I'm still pursuing these things. I didn't just throw it out because I had a bad day or because I saw someone else doing it. So what about you?
I've got some of the creative that you do. I don't think I have to the same level that you do, but I do have some creative. And I've also got a lot of logical and analytical going on. And what I started doing, a little ashamed to say that I've been in this career for so long, and I've just finally, I'm figuring out some things that really work for me. And one of the things that I was terrible about doing, and she called me out on a while ago, was getting a pen and paper and writing everything down, constantly having a list and keeping a list and checking it off. And what I started doing a while back, not just this tax season, that's helped it be a smoother tax season for me, was it's okay to have that list, but don't rewrite it every single day. Dump it out of your head and then focus on what's important. So as I was starting to create my calendar for the week, I don't write down, do the Jones tax return, do the Smith tax return, do the ABC, do the Acme, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I just give me a block of time that says, do these tax returns, and only work from this very small list and go pick one at a time. I was horrible about sabotaging myself. And, like right now, I think my team's got about 100 tax returns that we've got to get completed before this in-house deadline that we've created for ourselves.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
And I would put all 100 of them on Monday. That's unrealistic. I would always set myself up for failure by
right,
writing too many things down
before you even began.
So now I still kind of have a little bit of a plan, but I don't try to put everybody all in one time. And that's created better boundaries for me with last minute requests, or looking at my time when people are coming into the office of, I would love to help you right now, but I got to think about what you're needing compared to what I'm trying to do. So that's something that I've been stopping overloading myself with expectations.
So what I think you're saying, like you've stopped making the unrealistic expectations for yourself, because that was making you stop even trying to move forward because you felt so defeated. So you're going to stop stopping the things that make you feel defeated. Is
that's it?
Yeah. That is a lot, Sherry.
And that was me. I mean, I'm defeating myself by just putting too many pressures on myself. And so, I don't even need you people in the office. I got myself that I can load myself down with pressures, and much less, or even more, the clients that have that. I've already pulled my plate full, or filled my plate full with my own pressures.
Right. So we are the hardest on ourselves. Yes. We are our worst enemies. But I think knowing that and learning these little things helps us so much to defeat that. So that's good. Okay, what's next?
Well, like we said, the stopping the cycle, it really gave me freedom. And it was amazing. You asked me this past week, I told you on Monday how I was I'd set my goal to get 5 tax returns completed. And the part of the process that I do, at the end of the day, I had 10 done.
Oh, good.
I don't know what happened that day. I guess I freed myself. And I didn't, I named them and I got them done, and I had plenty of time to do some extras. I don't know. It's really a strange thing. It's been a strange week.
Yeah. So, that's good.
Thank you.
Good stuff. If you could just recreate that every day,
I've been working on it to create it every day of that was so simple and it worked. And I was overcomplicating my whole system. For years, I've overcomplicated my whole system.
I swear, you do. You overcomplicate. But that's good. That's also part of your nature, because you're analytical, you're detailed, you like to go deep into those subjects. So in a way, overcomplicating isn't such a bad thing. And it really isn't overcomplicating. There's just so much. But I almost think of it like rabbit holes with you, because you get one thing and then you follow that and then you're like, oh, what's the next thing? And what's the next thing? And so I think just simplifying that, like you said, without maybe detailing it all out or setting yourself up for failure goes a really long way in giving you the fuel that you need to reach the goals that you want to reach, and being able to walk out of the office with, which you always walk out with your head held high, but in a different way. You know what I mean? Maybe the shoulders are back a little bit more like, hey, I won today. I won. All right. So then the next thing, moving on here, our next episode was, what was your self-talk? That was a good one. It's a big one. I mean, that's what everyone talks about right now. You hear it in the news, you hear it from, mentors and coaches, and because self-talk it's everything, really, from the moment you wake up throughout your day till you go to bed, and then even in your dreams, I would argue, right? It's self-talk is everything. And so if that's negative, eek. So we have to learn to identify when we're being negative with ourselves and know how to overcome that. And hopefully we was able to provide some tools for people to be a little bit better at that. And I think that the key really is just being mindful. So you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Doesn't matter. Okay, go right ahead.
The question is, any funny or honest confessions about the voices in your head? So I thought about this.
Here we go.
And I just thought,
luckily I haven't thought about it.
I know. Well, I saw your papers in there, so I think you thought about it for a moment, but I probably did have some more time than you to think about it. But all I could think about with the voices in my head was, I really have a full-blown committee in my head. And they're all crazy. Like, no one in there is really sane. And so I wrote those down because I didn't want to forget. Sometimes on here I just get so caught up I can't remember. So I know I had the motivational speaker. That's like one of my big goals. I love to talk to people. I love to listen to motivational speakers. It's just what gets me going. So I actually have one in my head. And when things happen, Sherry, I don't know if you know this or not, but I actually have the motivational speaker. And if I'm just sitting there, I'm like doing that. Like, I have the audience and I'm doing my motivational speech and I'm like living that moment.
Funny.
Yeah. I like her. I like the motivational speaker. I haven't named her yet. Some of my others have names. True. The second one has a name. I have Stella. Stella is a dangerous part of my inner voice. She's my protector. She was probably created from some hard things I went through in my life. So I appreciate that she is my protector, but I have to watch out for this child, okay? Because Stella can get rough. And there's a lot of people in my personal life that have experienced Stella and they want to kill her.
It's funny.
Yeah, she's bad.
One of my favorite vehicles was Stella.
Oh, no. Was it a good vehicle?
Oh, my gosh. I loved that vehicle. Okay. And a picture of her popped up just recently. There were some pictures at the house. And it's like, there's Stella. I will never forget Stella. I loved my Stella.
Okay. Well, I love my Stella, too. People around me, not so much. Stella comes out when I get into fight or flight. I do that quite often because, as I've said in many different episodes, that I'm high anxiety, high energy. And Stella tends to be like, oh gosh, are we running or are we fighting? What are we doing? And sometimes chooses the wrong thing.
Well, yeah, mine kind of did too. My Stella was like, she's always dependable. I can always count on Stella. That girl she's a warrior. Yeah. She's going to show up. Yeah. Some days she might be covered in mud, but she is going to show up. And I loved her.
Yeah.
I even liked it. Like she had a sunroof. I could let the light in with Stella.
Yeah, see, I need to think of my Stella more like your car. She's my
I think I need to think of my Stella more like yours. But
yeah, anyway. Stella the protector. That's what I always call her.
She was. That's interesting.
And, like Lenny, he'll be like, Stella needs to go away. She needs to go. Find somebody else. And I'll be like, okay. It really is kind of like multiple personalities, but we all have them, but we all have the multiple voices in our head. So I don't want to take too much time. My next one is my reminder. And so that's the one in my head. Again, she doesn't really have a name, but it's just that constant nagging voice when I'm trying to do something new, when I'm trying to take a step forward, and there's that fear of failure a little bit. Yeah. But this reminder voice reminds me of stupid things I did in my life. And it could be like back in 6th grade, but that still affects me. Yeah, that still lives inside me. And those moments in those ages they're so important because that is who helped me grow. That's how I grew into the person I am now, right? And so the reminder is probably one of my biggest breaks as far as back to the car, the brakes. I want to hit the gas, but my reminder's like, no, brake. Don't you remember in 6th grade, you tried to do something really similar and it didn't work out so well. There was an ambulance called. All right. 4th, I know for sure I have here's a named one too. Don't do it, Doris. Don't do it, she says. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And I think Doris is the one that she is the facilitator of me stopping so many times because she's with me when I'm doom scrolling and I'm looking at things that other people are doing. And here I thought I had some original idea, but again, I know there's nothing really original. It's just a variation of something, but I'll see it. And don't do it, Doris is like, see, I told you. Told you weren't going to be first to the finish line. You might as well put this away. And then there I go with burning that creativity down and stopping that. So this awareness and really sitting down and thinking, who are these voices that I know are in my head, and just really putting some definition to them, I think is going to go a long way with me. So let's give you some time here. Funny or honest confession about the voices in your head. Well, gosh, now I feel like I almost can't. Comparing my answer to yours, I shouldn't compare to you, but still mine is so different. If I'd had more than 7 minutes, we'd been in trouble. We'd been in trouble. For sure. But I was just thinking, I know there's a lot of times in my own office that I will talk a situation out loud. And sometimes there's people like within my office that there's like, show me how to do that. I'm like, okay, I'll show you. But as I show you, I've got to talk it through because I've always believed, and are we having difficulty? Yeah. No, it's still going. It's still recording. You can edit that, do whatever you want to do with it. I will. Okay. Anyway, I have people that'll come in my office sometimes and I'll show them, but I said, now listen, as I show you, I'm probably going to have to talk it through. I've done this a lot of times, but I've got to do it through. And I said, it's good to talk to yourself because you're your own best cheerleader. I end it with that little statement. So I think about some of the things that if it's a brand new situation that comes to me, this is what I had written down. When it's a brand new situation that comes to me, I like to kind of get quiet and get still with it and really think about what's my circumstance and what's my result going to be, and I try to figure out the things in the middle and I write it down. So the voice in my head is not strong. So I have to write it down so that I can believe it to get from one point to the other. But then there are other things in my life that I've done them so many times. And I actually wrote down my visual as either like Tom Cruise, and I think he was in a Mission Impossible movie, or Tony Stark's in, I can't even think of the movie that he does. He's Marvel, has the glowing chest thing. I'm as blank as I can be on what that's called. Don't ask me.
But what the technology is there, and they can actually reach and touch and move things. And I've done something so many times that I just close my eyes and I can see it all happening right then in front of me. And I think I love having that that special gift or having developed that gift, because I can think about mathematical transactions. I can think about a tax return that do this, do that. And I can be almost spot on with the number. I can make up some numbers and get the right answer, or I can be really spot on with the answer. I've done it so many times. So yeah, I didn't name them Doris and Stella at the time. I think I'm Tony Starks and Tom Cruise. So I'm not going to jump off the furniture later in the day, but I will be happy because it's Friday. So anyway, that's my funny, honest confession for you.
Okay, that was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Then we had Energize Me.
So what's giving you some energy this month?
All right. So I wrote down caffeine chaos and the fear of disappointing people.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's totally me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'm a people pleaser.
Me too.
It's a strength and it's also a manipulation.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is. It is a strength and a manipulation, just like caffeine. It's a strength and a manipulation.
There you go.
Chaos, because I am just very chaotic.
Oh, my God.
It's true.
True.
I will never deny it. And I love that. So, but it gives me a lot of energy to be this kind of free spirit, and my team allows me to do that. And I'm so very, very grateful every day that I work in a team that just embraces me for my chaos. Mm-hmm. I think it brings some good stuff to the table. Sometimes we've got to get rid of some of it, but that's that creative side. And the fear of disappointing people, that, it does energize me because I work really, really hard as the team lead here to make sure that I'm bringing things into this office, into the firm, into Collab Works, and then trying to pour those out to the people I meet on the daily, just, to make sure I'm giving good things to people. Mm-hmm. So that's good energy for me.
Yes.
How about you? How do you energize?
How do I energize? Well, definitely we've got to feel ourselves first, like what you say. Some of the things that really energize me, people do energize me. I love interacting and talking with people, figuring out talking about what their plans and their dreams and things like that are. In my role in the office, I changed somewhat this year, where I've met with so many of our new clients that have called. Mm-hmm. And I think differently about those conversations that I'm having with the clients now, that I don't take anybody and everybody that comes through the front door. It is a position of honor to be the bulldog of an office. And I take that quite seriously here at our office. I used to try to people please, and whatever the client would want, I would like, yeah, we can bend over backwards and make that happen. And now I kind of remember who's living in the doghouse with me, my team.
Yeah.
And I think about them now more than I think about
so it kind of is that pleasing people.
It is. It's the people pleasing.
Energizes you.
I want to please my team and make them happy. But I also want to bring work into them that energizes them. It challenges them on a level, rises them up, empowers them, whatever you want to call it. I want to think about those. I don't want to squish them with the things that used to squish me.
Right.
Because I was too afraid to say no.
Taking everything.
I
think it is important. And just to be clear, when we're talking about this, we're talking about L.A. Miller and Associates, which is our main job.
Yeah.
And I know in business, and this is so important to all businesses, that it feels like you need to take everything that comes along your way. But Sherry, you remember that quote we used to say, and I don't remember where we even picked it up or read it or who said it, so I can't give credit, but the credit is not mine. It's not my quote and it's not Sherry's, but it went something like, it's not the clients you don't take that will break you. It's the clients you do take that will break you. And it goes back to the less is more. So as a business and thinking about that and thinking about how you're being selective and how that energizes people, it's not just the business, it's the team. The team is who makes up the business. So everything that you're thinking about that is spot on. So it's the less is more, it's quality over quantity, and it's making sure that that team is happy and is energized and they want to come. I hate to even call it work. They want to come to work. They want to come into this building and work within this team and help these businesses and do tax returns for, even the individuals. We talk a lot about business, but we work with just people on the individual too. So that's so admirable, Sherry. That's really wonderful that you've thought about it that way. And you've done such a great job of being that bulldog for the firm. For sure. So today's theme, let it go. Let me go.
Ooh, yeah.
Let it go.
Interesting.
Not let it go. Let me go. So we've done all this to build up to let me go. We've talked about all these things that hold us back, that weight us down, that keep us from being that person we want to be, from fulfilling those dreams that live inside us. And so today we, just quickly wanted to kind of put that together and say, if you can take anything away from the earlier episodes, the stopping, the energize me, the self-talk, which I will just always argue is probably the most important and critical, especially when you're trying to do something new. Putting that together and knowing those things and becoming mindful of how those are working within you, really and truly, that's what let me go is. It's just that simple. Put those things into action and let go. Do it. Move forward. Stop stopping. Find your energy. Change your self-talk. Commit and be consistent and go.
Right.
It sounds so easy.
It does sound so easy. It is so hard to implement. It is, and you want it all to be right the first day, and
it's hard. And
it's not.
Don't you think it's important to talk about in this conversation that it's not natural? What we're doing naturally are the things that we've always done, and that's what we're trying to change. And when you try to change something, there is a very natural resistance to change. And so what you have to remember, what we all have to remember, what you and I, have to remember, and we're the ones trying to lead this discussion, but we're not experts. We're learning it too. We have to remember that we're going to be met with resistance because we're trying to change, and that's okay, right?
It is. Or not for everybody.
Right.
And that's a good thing.
And it's since it's not natural, it's learned. And so when you're learning something new, you have to practice it, right? It's like a muscle. Like I've been going to the gym.
I know. And I'm not exercising next to you anymore. Go get on your own treadmill down the street.
Oh,
no, it was good.
But I'm finding muscles I didn't even know existed.
I have found some muscles this past week too. I've changed my exercise a little bit, and I found some new muscles.
But why is that any different? Think about that for a second. You go to the gym, you find things you didn't know existed, and you're like, ooh. And then you look at people and you're like, why does she look that amazing? And I'm looking at mine, I'm like, no, I don't have that. But I do. I have it. We all have the things to make us successful. We all have the things to build the body we see in the gym, and then the body that we want in a business. We just have to believe in that, but we have to work at it
every day.
And that's where we fail.
Every day.
That's where we fail, is we don't put in enough work. And that's where knowing the tools, you have to know you're going to have the resistance. You have to know you're going to get tired. You have to know that it's going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight. And you have to know that if you're just consistent and you believe in it and you keep moving forward, Sherry, you're going to get there. I believe that. I believe that wholeheartedly.
I hope so. I need that motivational speak. I'm so glad that, let's see, what is her name? Oh, she doesn't have a name yet. The motivational speaker. I'm glad she came out.
No, the motivational speaker doesn't have a name yet. And I think that's simply because it's me. Mm-hmm. And I always find it weird to talk about myself. You know, I've told you that before. So, all right. So did you write anything down on this section?
The other thing I did, what is the difference between quitting and releasing? Mm-hmm. For me, quitting, I wrote it down in 4 simple words. That was when she caught me. So I got it in just a few simple words. For me, quitting is to let me. So let somebody else do it. Just quit it. It's okay. It'll be fine.
Just let it go.
Mm-hmm. Let it go. And then, I think I did. I don't know if I got that right or not. Quitting is let me. I'll quit. And then releasing is let them. Maybe it's vice versa. Heck, I don't know. It's all right to let other people do it.
Right.
They can probably do it better.
Yeah.
I hope so.
And then once again, some of this is coming from our wonderful motivational coach that we use a lot. Yes. I know a lot of people do. I mean, everyone seems to love, and I don't even think I have to say her name because people know who we're talking about, but Mel Robbins. She's just wonderful. She's wonderful. And that book, if you haven't read it, you should. You should read it. If you don't like to read, then listen to it.
Listen to her on audio. She does her own narration. It's like your big sister's talking to you.
Yeah.
I do love that. I listen to a lot of audibles, and I love it when the author actually does the narration because it is my big sister or my big brother that I feel like I've got a connection to them, and they are talking me off the ledge or something. I like that a lot.
So there's no reason not to do it. If you haven't listened to that book, I think it's got something in it for everyone.
It does.
So anyway, Mel Robbins, you're welcome. Send us whatever you want, a thank you card. To call us, be on our show. We love you. No, back to all seriousness though. Okay, so I'm looking back at my notes here, and the power of releasing for me, what I wrote down. See, I changed your notes from mine, thinking I was simplifying, but really what I did is just I created chaos. Right. But I wrote down that waiting for perfect keeps me parked in neutral. And I think that's weird because we talked about your car, Stella. We talked about Stella here. But, and back to that creative part of myself and me wanting to stop, it just seems so perfect to say that, waiting to be perfect does keep me parked in neutral. It keeps me from moving forward. It keeps me stuck. And I thought
I've actually experienced that with you before because some of the things are a lot of the things that you create. They are so mind blowing. Just the idea. Aww. And then you put all of the work into it and you won't release it because it's like, well, this one little detail ain't good enough. But it is so beyond perfect in my own. I couldn't have finished it out that way.
Oh, Sherry.
Let it go. So I've seen you do that several times.
I am bad about it, but that is one of the things I'm working on. So
I kind of do some of the same things though with work and stuff like that but they may not do it perfect like I did it perfect. Well, now I've had to review some of my own work and come to find out I ain't that perfect either.
Yeah. Well, and none of us
It was good enough.
I think it comes from people being critical of me. And I try to put on a tough exterior sometimes. And that's just my protection, but, I'm crushed pretty easily. So I create all these things. I put the work in and then I might stop. So I just got to quit waiting on perfect and know that it's okay to show up a little messy. And with this podcast, this was one of the things I've wanted to do for a really long time. And, I knew it wasn't going to be perfect when we started it, Sherry, but thank you for coming along on the chaotic ride and being the co-host and so graciously always just joining in and saying, okay, let's do this. Let's just show up messy because you're helping me with a big, big weakness that I have. And I'm very grateful.
That's funny. I think it's funny because if anybody is going to show up in the hot mess state, it's going to be or say things that are not quite right or whatever. It's definitely going to be me.
Well, I will agree.
I mess up all your perfect stuff.
No,
I don't. I just add spice to your not so perfect stuff.
You do. So, okay, we've been in here a while, and I want people to get to the end of this. So, but all of this is important. This was a big show, I think, to do the recap and us be able to add our personal insight there. But I do want to get to signs are holding back or holding on too tight. Do you have that part, or did I cut that?
I do. One of them, the resistance to change. Man, we were talking about this just a little bit before we got in, and it's amazing how sometimes your resistance to change and holding on to something that's really baggage, it can be mental baggage, but actually truly has a physical weight to it. Mm-hmm. It's I've had some of the things throughout lately that I've experienced. It's like, man, that really had a physical weight to it until I let it go. And then all of a sudden it dropped.
Yeah, that was really
interesting. Very interesting.
All right. Well, mine was my sign that I'm holding on too tight is I'll do it Monday. I don't think of myself as a procrastinator, but when I boil it down, I probably am. And that comes from me wanting everything to be perfect because I want to shy away from criticisms. So the I'll wait for it Monday means I've got time to listen to one more coach, to read one more book, to sit under a tree and think about the depth of the topic one more time. But then what I know about me is Monday gets here and then I'll do it Wednesday. You know, and I love it when real reasons show up and I can say, oh, I couldn't possibly because this external force came in and it literally changed my course. But I need to take more ownership of that, and I can take more ownership of that. So I'm just going to try to work harder to never say, I'll wait until Monday. So that was mine. I'm holding on too tight. Letting go in real life. So this was a good question that was on here, and that talked about rituals and journaling and silence, boundary setting. Why am I tongue-tied? Boundary setting and decluttering. Sherry, you do a lot of these.
I have been recently, yes. I've been doing a lot of, been working really on all of them. I do have my little rituals. We discussed those on the Energize Me of how do I feel myself, and I've really got a daily ritual set down. You can just about set your clock to me.
Yeah,
with
that's
it,
good.
and that really helped me. And it includes really it includes the rituals, it includes the journaling, it includes the silence every single day. I've just got to get things out of my head, and when it's on a piece of paper, it really slows down. It slows down the number of hamsters that are going on the wheel.
Squirrel.
So yeah, so that really helps me. And boundary setting, I'm still working on boundary setting. That's a difficult one for me. Decluttering. Decluttering is right now kind of coming pretty easy. I'm tired of the things that I've held on to for so long. It was like I was saying, that baggage actually does have physical weight. And I've seen that it hasn't, it stopped serving
have
me.
Mental weight too.
True. Yeah.
You know, they've always, I don't know who they are. I've always heard that a person's home or their office, their surroundings are a true reflection of what's going on inside. And if you pay attention to that with whomever you're around and you have an opportunity to see their physical environment and you know them well enough, you will see that, you know, it somehow manifests. I think it manifests from the inside to the outside, not so much the outside. Although I would argue that when my physical surroundings are a mess, I feel worse inside. So I think the decluttering you have to do both physically and mentally.
You do.
Yeah. And you do a really, really good job of that. I know with your journaling and your silence, and you tell me about your walks and your exercise, and just, I think that you do such a great job with the structure of your day. So anyway.
Oh, thank you.
I know Sherry and I have nothing but good things to say to each other on the podcast. Just kidding. All right, wrap it up. What are we supposed to do to wrap this up? So wrap it up. I thought this was really good. It said March for myself wasn't about becoming someone new. It was about uncovering what's already there. And isn't that so true? Mm-hmm. We already have it all. We don't even have to grow it. We don't have to find it. We have it. Mm-hmm. We just have to uncover it. Right? Isn't that so promising? It sounds easy.
I love it that all the things are right out there in front of us, and all we got to do is just look a little bit.
Just look. Mm-hmm. You know, in the story, the book, I won't even name the book right now, but it was a really powerful thing. It was Sherry might have been having a rough day that day, and she's like, I just can't even see. I can't see, what I'm doing. And I said,
I hear this a lot.
I just read this book, and I said, I thought there was a really powerful statement in it that it said, well, maybe you can't see to the other side, but can you see your next step? And that goes to
a long ways
to setting goals, mm-hmm. right? You can't look at just this one big one because it's so big you can't see the other side, but it's just the step. So anyway, what did you have there?
I'm curious of everybody that's out there that's listening to us. Thank you. We do appreciate you listening to us. We do appreciate all the sharing that you're doing for us. I'm really curious, though, as you wind up listening to today's podcast, I wish that you would leave us an answer of what something that goes in with these podcasts. What energizes you? Because you may know something out there that I've not thought about and I can add it to my routine. Or what's something that you can let go of? Same thing. Mm-hmm. We may be carrying the same thing and not realize it's baggage that we need to let go of. I'd love to know for the month of March, what's been energizing you, what's been weighing you down, and that you're letting go of. So as you share, leave a word or two.
We would love to hear from you, mm-hmm. right? I know Sherry has said to me that some people come up to her and talk to her about the podcast. I have the same thing. Was at Menards this week. A friend came up and said something to me about it. I had someone text me out of the blue, and I go back and look because I think, am I missing things? And I'm not. Like, no one says anything on our posts, but they're watching it. But mm-hmm. we don't know you're watching it. Mm-hmm. So get involved. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Plus, that energizes us, right?
It does. It energizes me. Yeah. It does. It energizes me. I hope
especially when someone's like, when's the next one? When are you doing the next one? And we hear that and we're like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't think anybody out there was listening. So we'll do another one. So yeah, I love, Sherry, that you called out and asked for those comments or just insight into what they're going through or how they've let go, because we don't have all the answers. We just like to get on here and talk.
Yeah.
And we figure if it's affecting us, it's affecting you guys. So share with us. I think that's it on the recap and looking at March. And so real quickly, April, what are we doing in April?
Well, between now and April 15th. No.
Right. So, yeah.
But I'm working on other stuff too.
Yeah. She's going to be really busy. So when she does the podcast with me, I'm going to be even more grateful because I'm going to be asking for some time of hers that she has to dig real deep to find for us. And I hope that she will. So April, I'm thinking we'll talk about rebirth. Right? So the rebirth of you, the rebirth of your business, the rebirth of thinking and how you think, the rebirth of self-talk, and rebirth of setting goals. And I think that's appropriate for April.
Like all of
what
it.
About you? Mm-hmm. So that's April. So we kind of have lined that out a little bit with, we'll do an episode on aligned action, working from your why. Planting season, what are you growing? Mm-hmm. The April activation, your Come Aliveness month, and from reflection to rebuild.
Love it.
So we've got a little bit of an outline, and we'll do our normal, which is a lot of banter and unscripted talk. But we wanted to have a flow and be able to give you something to look forward to and know what we'll be talking about. And lastly, May, We are now scheduling bookings for May because May is a big time for us.
It is.
L.A. Miller will be through the main part of tax season. Listen, folks, when I say the main part of tax season, because tax season never ends.
Does not. It does not.
But once we pass the one main deadline, things kind of free up a little bit and we can breathe a little bit easier. So in May, we have 9 days. So it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays that we will be interviewing businesses that we work with and some that we don't work with. We've got some people lined up for that. We had a total of 9 openings. If you would like to come on and share your story, we would love that, because what we really want to talk about is just the human behind the business. So that's in May.
Yeah.
Right. So call. Who do they call? You, me?
Either one. There are some jewels in this community that really need.
And some of the ones that we
really should sparkle and shine.
Yes, and some of the ones that we have lined up, it's going to be so exciting to hear from those individuals in our community and hear their story, because most of the time we don't hear their story. We see the end of their story. We see the success, but we don't hear what started that motivation, how they continued through all the struggles that we know they went through to get to where we actually see what they were creating and manifesting all that time. And sometimes, that's years and years that it takes someone to do that. So we're super excited. Again, we have a few dates left on that. If you're interested in being a guest and coming on and talk to us, don't be afraid. Because we will go ahead and give you questions so that you can think about those answers. We want you to be able to get on here and really tell a good story about your beginnings and what happened. We'll help you with that. And with that, I think that's it for today.
I think it is too. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It's been a great week.
It has been a great week. It's going to be a stormy weekend. Be a good time to sit and reflect and journal and do all those things.
Or take a good nap.
Ooh, take a good nap.
I love a good nap during a storm.
All right. We'll wrap it up. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you guys, and we're excited about April and May and hope that you will join us. Bye.
Bye-bye.